Did you know your body stores fat in 3 completely different ways, and each one impacts your health differently? Most people are worried about the one that they can see, but it's the one that they can't see that causes the most damage. And in this video, I'm breaking down the 3 types of body fat, what they actually do inside of the body, and why location matters way more than how much you have. We're starting with the one that is least dangerous, and we're going to work our way up to one of the most deadly of the 3. Now, if you've been trying to shrink your stomach, squeeze into smaller jeans by dieting or toning up at the gym, you might actually be ignoring the fat that's actually dangerous, because not all body fat works the same. Let's break it down. What each type of fat is and where it shows up in your body, and which one is quietly wrecking your health behind the scenes. So let's start with the one that everyone worries about the most, and that is the least deadly of the 3, and that is belly fat. This one is called subcutaneous fat. It's the fat that sits right underneath the skin, and it's the kind that you grab or pinch. It makes your jeans tighter, and it shows up in the mirror. So of course, it's the one that people obsess the most over. But here's the deal. This is actually the least dangerous type of fat. When it comes to your long-term health, yes, too much can be a signal of other imbalances, but by itself, it's more cosmetic than clinical. Subcutaneous fat is more about how you look, and it's what changes when you gain or lose weight quickly, like with crash dieting. This fat is caused by a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol is released when you're under too much stress. Now, the stress that I'm referring to is different than what you're thinking right now. While emotional stress like work or family drama will impact your cortisol levels, the sneaky stress that few people recognize that is actually sabotaging their health is their diet. Most likely it's filled with food sensitivities, sugar, and artificial ingredients. This is all extremely stressful on the body and will cause your cortisol to spike, leading to belly fat. Now, even though that is the least deadly of the 3, it doesn't mean it's completely harmless. It will create insulin resistance. It will drive estrogen dominance in both men and women, and it'll drive long-lasting, body-wide, low-grade inflammation. What I mean by inflammation, you can think about fatigue, brain fog, sore joints, and stiffness. So while subcutaneous fat won't directly choke your organs or flood your liver, it often serves as a warning sign that your metabolism is moving down in the wrong direction. Now let's talk about skinny fat. This is the second kind, and this one's sneaky. This one is where someone looks to lean on the outside. They look good with clothes on, but inside they've got low muscle mass and they have high internal fat. We call this sarcopenic obesity. Sarcopenic means muscle loss, and it's dangerous. These are the people who say, but I'm not overweight. They might even wear the same jean size that they did 10 years ago, but they're still exhausted, they have brain fog, they're still inflamed, and they have insulin resistance, and they're completely unaware of what's really going on. Their scale says that they're completely fine, but their blood labs tell a completely different story. Here's why that matters. Your muscles help your body use sugar. They help you stay strong, and they help keep your brain sharp. When you don't have enough muscle, your body can't use the food in the right way, so your sugar starts to go up, inflammation starts to go up, and your body starts to break down even faster, even if you're not overweight. So if you're one of those people who are skinny fat and you're at a high risk of prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, you're also at a high risk of osteoporosis, poor immune function, and hormone decline. And the worst part, most labs won't catch this because skinny fat doesn't show up on your BMI. It shows up on how you feel and how your body functions and what your body's really made of. But we see this all the time in our clinic. Now, a great example is this. I had a client, her name was Emily. She was about 5'5", and she looked great on paper. However, she had been on several weight loss programs in the past, which all of them were successful at getting the weight off. But now she was noticing that she was tired all the time. She had constant brain fog. Her skin was dry and fragile, and she suspected that she had a hormonal imbalance. Now, even though her labs looked normal, after running labs in our clinic, it turned out that even though her BMI was correct, she was anything but healthy. And one big problem that she was facing was that she was under muscled, because having low muscle mass puts major stress on your blood sugar levels and your stress hormone cortisol. So let's talk about the most dangerous fat of the 3, and this is called visceral fat. This fat hides deep inside of your belly, underneath the muscle layer, and you can't see it. You can't grab onto it, but it wraps its way around the organs like your liver, your stomach, your heart, your intestines, and your pancreas. pancreas. And that's the whole problem. Visceral fat makes your body inflamed, like it's always fighting something. So if you catch a cold easily, or you get tired too quickly, or your body feels like it's fragile, this is what's going on. It can mess up your blood sugar, your hormones, and your sleep, and even your brain. Now, because fat is wrapping its way around the organs, it makes the organs themselves sick. And that is why this kind of fat leads to things like diabetes, heart disease, strokes, and high blood pressure, which is why it's the most deadly of the three, because it's actually driving the inflammation and making the organs that control the blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure not function. Now, the stereotypical person that you might think of is the older man who's got the beer belly, but you can be thin and still have visceral fat. We see this often. People who maybe look healthy on the outside, but they don't feel well. And when we take proper lab tests, it shows the kind of trouble they're in on the inside. This is the kind of fat that we really need to fix. And there was a study done way back in 2015 by the National Institute of Health, and it stated in men, every standard deviation increment in thigh intermuscular fat was related to a significantly greater mortality risk after adjustment for age, education, smoking, physical activity, alcohol and BMI, and type 2 diabetes, and coronary heart disease. Now, what that means is that for every small amount of increased fat, it had a dramatic impact in how quickly these men died. Now, in women, the visceral fat significantly increased mortality risk. You don't need to fear fat, but you do need to understand it. Not all fat is created equal, and the kind that hides deep inside of your body, that's the one that you can't ignore. Visceral fat isn't just about how you look on the outside. It's about what's threatening your life from the inside out. Also, permanent weight loss comes when you are not focused on the weight loss. Lifelong health comes when it becomes about giving your body the support that it needs to heal, like balancing out your hormones and regaining your health. And the good news is that this kind of fat is a signal, not a death sentence. Once you understand how your body is storing it, you can start doing something about it. So you can type in the comments below, what is the kind of fat that you are struggling with? Chat with you soon.